Good morning, everyone. Students, today I am going to discuss three topics. First one is digital literacy. Second one, internet services. And the last one, internet protocol suite. So these three topics, one by one, I am going to discuss, my dear. First of all, I am going to discuss that is identification of computers and users over a network. This part, some part already I discussed before. Then also I'm going to discuss this topic. Maybe this topic can help you a lot. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to discuss two topics. One is the Mac, and other one is the IP. These two are very important, my dear. You have to understand. First of all, you have to know what is IP. If I'm saying IP, that means internet protocol. And when I'm talking about the MAC, it is media access control. When I will discuss this all topic, you will understand. Okay, first of all, you can see the definition. What is a MAC over here? For proper communication, the nodes. You know what is node? The PCs, individual PCs, which are connected in a network. Those all PCs will be called as node. Okay. The nodes should be uniquely identifiable. Each NIC has a universal unique address assigned by it by its manufacturer. This address is known as MAC address. First of all, a term has come, NIC. What is NIC? Network Interface Card. You know, no one can say that, sir, I'm having my internet connection without NIC. No one. Without the NIC, your computer cannot be in a network, my dear. That is also called as Ethernet card. You might have heard, because if this card is not available, you cannot work. Understood? In a network. So I will be giving you the differences. By that, each and every part you will understand that how you can differentiate MAC and the IP address. First of all, full form already understood, my dear. Now the next part that I'm going to discuss, that is very important. See, first of all, the MAC address of an NIC is permanent and cannot be changed by you. When you purchase your PC, you will be getting your MAC address. You will try to change, you cannot. But in IP address setting of a node, yes, can be changed by user. I'm giving one example by which you can understand it. You know, when suppose my Wi-Fi hotspot is on and you are going to take my services, at that time when you connect with my Wi-Fi hotspot, what happens? It's opt-in and IP. Just you watch it. What the IP address just now you have got it. Maybe after an hour when you will connect with me, you cannot get the same IP address. It can change. So that's why I say IP address can be changed. MAC address for your PC cannot be changed. So this is very important difference. Now, next one, PC. If I'm talking about the IP address, okay, then if you want to track anyone activities, then only your IP address can help you. MAC address cannot be. This one is the second difference, my dear. Third one, your IP address is group of 4 bytes. Please note down. It is group of 4 bytes, that you can say 32 bits, because you all are knowing in 1 byte 8 bits are there. When I'm talking about the 4 bytes, you multiply it by 8, that will be 32 bits. But when I'm talking about the MAC address, then it has 12 digit hexadecimal, that is 48 bits. Understood? So please keep it in mind. Yes, you are having here in IP address 32, but in MAC address of 48. Now I will just show you an example by which you can understand. Just now you can see on the screen, I have retained the MAC address. You can see how your MAC address is indicated. You can use colon or you can use dash. You cannot use it. It is already used, my dear. Somewhere you will see colon and somewhere dash. Don't be confused. Both formats can be utilized. Now, just watch it on the screen, my dear. The first part, if I'm talking about this first part, this is my ID number. This is my ID number, yes, of the manufacturer. You know, many companies they are making, you know, Intel, you have the CMD company. So here, if I'm saying this one and it is of Intel one, then who is the manufacturer of this Mac, this NIC? Yes, your Intel company. So this first part shows this one. Now the next part, you can see the second part. This part is the serial number that is given by the manufacturer. One is what? The ID number, another one is the serial number. And who is providing this one? Whoever manufactured. If it is Intel, then Intel company will give it. But these numbers which are given to you, yes, it will not be same for other. Please keep it in mind. Now, when I'm talking about the IP address, suppose one example you take 192.1.8.7. This is my IP address. Please keep it in mind. You can see your each part. It can vary from 0 to 255. You can see in my IP address, my range is not more than 255. It starts with 0 and the maximum 255. So you must have to know the range of the IP address. Okay. Now, the next part that is also very, very important, my dear. From the IP address, it is usually possible to track. Now, you see, from the IP address, it is usually possible to track the activities of any PC. But when I'm talking about the Mac one, it is impossible. As you know, this address is fixed, but never we are using the MAC address for tracking anyone activities. Understood? So these all which I discussed, yes, these all are very, very important. Maybe yes, this type of questions can come in standard 12 examination, main examination. So you must have to know these all differences. Okay. Now I'm coming to the next part, that is the domain name. What is a domain name? I already discussed about the domain name. You know, actually we use the domain name. We are not using the IP address of any website, you know, because it is quite difficult for us to remember those all IP addresses. So in that case, we remember what? We remember only the domain name. Now you can see the definition, my dear. It is practically impossible for a person to remember the IP addresses of all the computers one may have to communicate with. Like Google, we are using google.com. This is a domain name. But if anyone will say, no, you have to use the IP address, it is quite difficult because many websites are there. Each and every website IP address, we cannot, yes, learn it. Therefore, a system has developed which assign names to some computers, web servers, and maintains a database of these all names and the corresponding IP address. So these names are what? Your domain name. Okay. Then if I'm talking about the domain name, then you must have to know about the DNS. What is DNS? This is a domain name server. Okay. So first of all, you have to know how it works. Suppose when you are giving your IP, giving your domain name, like I'm talking about the google.com. This is my domain name. Okay. As once you type this one, what will happen? Your web browser, where you type, maybe in Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, it will communicate with operating system. There you have a file host. It will communicate with that one and ask via the operating system that please provide me the IP address of Google. If it is there, then it will communicate. Otherwise, directly it will go to the DNS, domain name server, and it demands, please provide me the IP address of Google. DNS will provide, and then using this, whatever information that is required by the user, that he can get it by the help of web browser through the IP address. Understood? Because any website that has to be accessed, only those websites can be accessed only by the help of IP address. Okay. Now, one more example you can see, my dear. Just you see cbsc.nic.in. This is my website. Okay. Now you watch it, my dear. If I'm talking about .in, this is the domain name. Okay. Now, when I'm talking about the domain name, then it is of, yes, two parts. Understood? One is the top level domain that is called as primary domain, and other one is the subdomain name. Now, just you watch it. If I'm using in, it is my primary domain name. But listen, my dear, you when I'm talking about .nic, then it will be the subdomain of which one? Of .in. Now, when I'm talking about the CBSE, then CBSE will be the domain name of which one? .nic. Please, once more you have to understand, my dear. If I'm talking the last one, .in, this is an Indian website. .in, it means it is the domain name. But when I go to this topic, .nic, then it will be the subdomain of .in. When I'm talking about the CBSE, then CBSE will be the subdomain of which one? Of NIC. I hope you have understood this all topic. Okay, let me, yes, now you can see some subdomain name. You see .com. If you are using .com, it means it is which type of website? Commercial website. .edu, educational. .gov, government. .mil, military. .net, network organization. .org, yes, non-profit organization website. Just many are there. You can see it, my dear. Yes. Now .org, non-profit organization website. Now you can identify that this website is of which country. .in, that is related to, yes, which site, that this site is created by which country, that is India. .au, Australia. .ca, Canada, like that you have, yeah, Japan. .jp. By this domain ID you can understand it, this website is of which country. Now the next one is domain name resolution. Just already I have discussed about the DNS. That is domain name resolution. When I say, that means it is the process of getting the corresponding IP address from the domain name. This is called as domain name resolution. Now, the next part, what is digital literacy? Government is thinking about these all things, my dear. Just I will discuss first, then I will say you how. You must have heard about DigiLocker. Many are there. Okay, I will discuss first. Digital literacy refers to raising knowledge and awareness about technology, such as desktop computers, smartphones, tablets, and other electronic gadgets. It also includes familiarity with the software tools and the internet. This knowledge facilitates people to acquire what, analyze, share, create, and deliver information in an efficient and constructive way. Digital literacy also help people in several arenas. How? Yes, you can say the best example, education, social networking, e-commerce, healthcare, tourism, many are there, my dear. So, our government of India, that is our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, already have taken an initiative. You might have heard about Digital India. Yes, you might have heard about the DigiLocker. Why? That means totally it is digitalized, my dear. If suppose you have to go for the fund transfer, why not you go for the VMAP? Yes, Google Pays, many are there. Paytm, many are there. Understood? Actually, what is the use of such thing? These all will give you the cashless services. No need to have, yes, the physical money. Only you have your card, you can withdraw money. If you have such apps, yes, you can deposit or even you can transfer, yes, your amount from one place to another place. I'm not going to discuss these all topics in deep, my dear, but you can understand what I mean to say. Now, next topic, that is internet services. First term that is given here, electronic mail. If I'm saying email, that means composing a mail and sending it, yes, to the receiver. Now, please keep it in mind. What type of thing that can be entertained, that can be used by the user for sending the mail? You see, it can be your text, it can be your audio, but there is restriction over there. You can have only 15 MB file to be sent, not more than that. Understood? So as per the restriction, you have to work it. An email may be written text as a written as text. It may be, yes, as audio. It can be, yes, as a video, or it can be as document. But whenever you are sending mail, it can be sent in two ways. First one, using your web-based application. Like one example I'm giving, Gmail. You might have used this. This is what? This is a web-based email application. And other one, that is desktop-based email application. The best example, you have Outlook. Understood? So how you want to send it, it is totally up to you. Now, transferring mail over the internet is governed by a set of rules known as email protocols, such as SMTP and POP. I will discuss, my dear. You must have to know what is the difference between SMTP and POP. First of all, you have to know what is the full form of SMTP. SMTP is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol and POP is Post Office Protocol. Now, both are different. One for receiving and other one for sending. Now, when I'm talking about the SMTP, when I'm talking about the SMTP protocol, then SMTP protocol is used in sending outgoing emails. Listen, my dear, this protocol is used in sending outgoing emails by pushing the message from client to server. Again, I'm saying SMTP protocol is used in sending outgoing emails by pushing the message from the client to server. But in POP, just opposite, my dear. In POP protocol is using receiving incoming emails by pulling, that was pushing, by pulling the message from the server to client. This is the main difference between the SMTP and the POP. Actually, when you are sending, this protocol works. Now, the next part is a file transfer protocol. You all are knowing about the file transfer protocol. Yes, actually, when you are sharing your files, transferring your files, at that time, your file transfer protocol works. Okay, just now you can see transferring files from one machine to another through a TCP based network is done using FTP, file transfer protocol. It is based on client server architecture. Using FTP, local host, that is the client, can download or upload files to and from remote hosts. That means wherever the server, it may be as near to you or very far from you. You can have such all facilities using the FTP protocol. Now, the next one is your telnet. Yes, Telnet stands for Terminal Network. It is a client server based application that allows the user working on one system to access a remote system. Students, suppose you are going to have a remote login. Then the user should specify the address. What is the address, my dear, of which one? Of the remote system. And should also authenticate himself or herself by using the username and the password. After successful login, my dear, the client now can access the remote system. Understood? That means the system which is very far. Yes, but for this, what type of mechanism should be? He must or she must authenticate. That means via the username and the password. Now, World Wide Web, everyone is knowing, so I'm not going to discuss this one. Now, next one that is very important, that is Internet Protocol, where I will discuss what is TCP IP model. First of all, you must have to know what is TCP and IP. Already I discussed. Suppose you want to send any file. That file must be broken into pieces. That is called packets. Who is going to break it, my dear? Yes, at the sender end, TCP. And who is going to arrange these all packets? Yes, that is the receiver TCP. Then what is the use of IP, that is Internet Protocol? It gives a route how your data is going to be passed, my dear. Now see here, the Internet Protocol suite is a set of communication protocol used in the internet and computer networks. It is commonly known as TCP because the fundamental, that means the fundamental, or you can say the foundation protocol in the suite are TCP and IP. So I'm going to discuss your TCP IP model. First of all, you can see your application layer. Now, see student, first of all, you have to know which type of protocol can work in application layer. I have just now discussed SMTP. I discussed POP also. Now here HTTP also. Okay. Now data message is created at the sender ends and receiving end it is examined and processed. This layer is only responsible for enveloping the message to be sent with the header. Okay, so that means this layer is only responsible for enveloping the message to be sent with the header. Only this is the duty of your application layer. So when I'm talking about the transport layer, then you must have to know application layer. After the application layer, it passes the message to which layer? Transport layers, which appends the information about the source and the destination port of processes at both ends, that is starting and the ending one. Now see students, two end-to-end protocols operate at this layer, my dear. One is the TCP, and other one is UDP. You must have to know it. Yes, so what are the two ends of protocol, TCP and UDP? First of all, you have to know transmission control protocol. It is a connection, my dear, connection oriented protocol. Yes, needed when timely and error free delivery of data is important. Only that is the role of TCP. What is TCP? TCP is a reliable connection oriented protocol needed when timely and error free delivery of data is important. But when I'm talking about the UDP, what is UDP? User Datagram Protocol. You must write it. What is UDP? Yes, User Datagram Protocol. So it is an unreliable connection protocol for short message. Understood? And client server. And I'm talking about the client server and the client server request reply message when immediate response is more important rather than yes assured delivery. Understood? Again I'm saying, what is UDP? Actually UDP is not a reliable connection, you know. It is just unreliable connectionless protocol. Please keep it in mind that I said about the reliable connection in the TCP, but in UDP, it is an unreliable connectionless protocol for short message and client server request reply message where immediate response is more important rather than assured delivery. This is my which type of protocol? UDP, that is user datagram protocol. Now after this you have your internet layer. Transport layer handles over the segment to the internet layer, which adds source and destination machines network addresses. But in the network layer, internet protocol is used. It defines the format of packets exchanged over the net. Already I said IP is responsible to govern, yes, the packets, to move the packets, and how the packet is going to be moved. Only the IP is going to to decide. Understood? So here your internet layer works. And the last one is the link layer, which is also called host to internet layer. This layer is responsible for adding the header containing the sender and receiver's physical address to the packets received from the internet layer. So these all four layers you must have to know it. And these all four layers are the part of TCP IP model. I hope you have understood these all topics. Thank you, my dear.